Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Michael Austin. Can you tell me your full name, please?
Zeynep Sanem Or.
Thank you. And what shall I call you?
Sanem. I prefer Sanem.
Sanem. And can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Turkey.
Thank you. Can I see your identification,
Sure.
please?
Here.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself.
Okay.
Let's talk about where you live. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself.
Yes.
Let's talk about where you live. What do you like most about your hometown?
Well, actually, I come from a very small town with around 5,000 inhabitants. It's more or less 50 kilometers from Como, which is the main town. And the thing I like the most of my town is probably the fact that you can stay. It's a very secluded area, and you can you can relax. So you don't have the stressful life of the city.
Mm.
And
is your hometown a popular place for tourists to visit?
Yeah, there are many tourists, especially in the summer, that flocking to my town and near town in Switzerland too, for holiday, for a week, for a month, especially from Germany, France.
And has your hometown changed much in recent years?
But honestly, I think it hasn't changed very much in the recent years. It's a small town, there haven't been a lot of change. But now there are not many people coming to my town as there were in the 80s. In the 80s it was very popular to come there, especially from Holland.
Now let's talk about writing. What different types of writing do you do? For example, letters, emails, reports, or essays?
I prefer to email. I prefer to connect by email with my friends, with my family, and sometimes I prefer to write letters by myself because it's very actual. I think it's from if you send a letter by yourself, and it means that you are very appreciate this person.
Do you prefer writing with a pen or using a computer?
Sometimes it depends on the situation. For example, for my studies, I prefer computer, to type in computer. But for my essays, I prefer to write by pen.
Why?
Because I feel more comfortable when I try to explain my some things which I want to say. It's more comfortable and easy to write it yourself.
Do you write more now or less than you did a few years ago?
I think less, because technology nowadays really go fast. So.
And do you like to write stories or poems?
Not actually. Just I like to write my opinions, my view, for example, about the world, about animals, about persons.
Thank you. Let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Usually every day I listen to music because it gives me energy, and it gives me some feeling, and it's very important for me to listen.
Let's talk about music.
Yeah.
How often do you listen to music?
Almost every day. I used to listen for 1 hour at least some music.
Why?
Because it relaxes me, it makes me feel at ease, comfortable, and I can also free my mind from the concern, worries, or everyday life.
So, do you prefer to buy CDs or download music from the internet?
I prefer to download music from the internet because it's faster, and you can look for the song you're looking for in a faster way. You can find it between more or less every song existing in the world.
Thank you. Have you always liked the same kind of music?
No, when I was younger, I loved metal music. Now I've changed my mind, and I prefer house music. It's completely different, I know, but...
Right. And is there a musical instrument that you would like to learn to play?
When I was a child, I used to play the clarinet. I studied for 2 years the drums, and I would like to play the saxophone, but I think it will be a little bit too late now to start learning.
Thank you. Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some paper and a pen for making notes, and here's your topic. Please don't write anything on the booklet.
Yes.
I'd like you to describe a time when you helped someone.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, you want to start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up.
Yes.
Can you start speaking now, please?
Okay. The moment I remember I helped somebody was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. He is completely in love with a girl that is now his girlfriend, and I helped him to conquer his girlfriend because he's a very shy person and introverted. He's not very self-confident at all, absolutely. And so I gave him some advice to try to conquer her, let's say. And I told him to take her out for a dinner. It's a very simple thing, but sometimes it's difficult for some people to understand it. And the result was that she was expecting him to ask her to go out. And so they had a beautiful evening together, and they are now a couple, let's say. And I felt really useful in this moment and helpful. I'm happy to have the chance to help a friend of mine, because on the other hand, he helped me in many stages and many moments of my life. And then thanks to this moment, now we are very, very good friends. And I think that's all.
I remember that I helped my grandmother, and my mother asked me to go to her home and help for 2 or 3 weeks. So I went there, and actually my grandmother was ill, so I had to do some cookings for her and some housekeeping works. In the evening, I read books for her. Then after 2 weeks, she became healthy, and she forgot about that days when she was ill. So now I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I did it, and my mother also very great that I helped my grandmother.
Can you tell me any more about that?
Yeah, and she always says me that I'm best girl in the world, and she says that she proud of me, and she always remember me all her life, and.
Thank you.
So you asked me to describe a time when I helped someone. I helped Aylin, who is my best friend in Ankara. I helped her actually last year because she was very sick and ill, and she has nobody at home to help her. And she called me and she asked me if I can help her. So I went to her home, and she was very ill. She got a high temperature and she was shaking, and I gave medication to her, but she threw it up, and it was so horrible, and I was very worried about her, so I picked up her to the hospital. That was the last thing that I can do for her, and we got to the emergency, and they gave some medication via her veins, so it went well, and her temperature went down or decreased a little, and we waited or stayed at hospital that night, and I prepared and I bought food for her, soup for her, and she was quite. I was very worried about her, and I thought that he was poisoned instead of flu, because she started to throw up, but doctors said that there was no worry, you don't need to be worried about that. This medication will help her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So do you like helping other people?
Sure. Yeah. Like charities. Yeah.
Thank you.
I prefer helping other people, especially old people, because they always need help. Yeah.
Thank you. So, do your friends help you when you have a problem?
Yeah, that's important, I think, to have someone that supports you in everyday problems that can come up every day. For example, when I worried for the university, and it happens quite often, the same friend I was talking about earlier always helped me and give me some advice about how I should act, how I should, the attitude I should take up to deal with my problems in a better way.
Thank you.
You asked me to describe a time when I helped someone. To that aim, I've chosen to talk about Aniceto. Last summer, I went to the United States in Miami to visit my uncle, because he's been living there for 10 years, and he married an American woman. And so I went to visit him just as a tourist, but then I decided to take English lessons to improve my English. And I met a Venezuelan boy, and he couldn't speak English at all. So I wanted to help him practice his English. And he has also a problem, it's that he's dyslexic, so it was very, very difficult for him. I'm not very good in English, but I could help him a little. So we were practicing our English together and just speaking, writing, and listening to music and movies, watching movies too. And so that's it. That's how I helped him with just practicing our English. Why I wanted to do that? Just like that, because he was very friendly and I could practice my English too, so it wasn't just for him, it was also a little for me. How I helped this person? Just practicing every day, and sometimes we met in shopping centers and we had a very good time together. What was the result? He said me recently that some people say that now he has a French accent, so maybe it wasn't a good thing, but I think he improved a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
I remember that I helped my grandmother, and my mother asked me to go to her home and help for 2 or 3 weeks. So I went there, and actually my grandmother was ill, so I had to do some cookings for her and some housekeeping works. In the evening I read books for her. Then after 2 weeks she became healthy, and she forgot about that days when she was ill. So now I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I did it, and my mother also very great that I helped my grandmother.
Can you tell me any more about that?
Yeah, and she always says me that I am best girl in the world, and she says that she proud of me, and she always remember me all her life. And
Thank you. So, do you like helping other people?
Yes, I like actually, because if I can help someone, I feel very good that I feel I can help someone, and I feel then that I am a cooperative person.
Thank you. We've been talking about a time when you helped someone, and I'd like to discuss with you 1 or 2 more general questions related to this. Let's consider first of all helping neighbours. Can you tell me some of the practical things that people can do to help their neighbours?
To help my neighbors, I think the most common action you can do to help a neighbor would be to lend him something. He doesn't have to take care of his children when he's away, or take a look at his house when he's on holiday. These kind of things.
Well, why should neighbours help each other?
Because it comes quite natural, I think. You may have a problem. You may have a problem one day, and if there is somebody that can help you, it's a good thing.
You live in quite a small town,
yeah.
and you know Como as well. Do you think that people in small towns help each other more than people in cities?
Yes, yeah. I think that it depends on the country. For example, here in experience I had here in England. Showed me that people are much more helpful here than in Italy, and but I think that generally in a small town, since you more or less know each other, you are more kind and you tend to help other people more easily.
Right. So why don't they do the same in cities?
Because the life in city is quite stressful. There are many people that they have to run from one part to the other of the city, and they don't take care of people that maybe needs help. They don't notice.
Okay, let's go on and think about attitudes towards helping other people. Some people don't want to help other people. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I don't know, but I think that the main attitude is help.
Yeah.
The people tend to help each
are,
other.
Maybe they've had a bad experience, or
yeah, it may be that sometimes you had a bad experience in which you felt really bad and nobody helped you, and now you don't feel ready to do it with the peoples. But I think that by the way, you should always try to be helpful, because you can't base your attitude on a past experience.
Do you think that the governments have a responsibility to help people?
Yes, I think the government should create a structure, should create also the right base to give people the chance to take up a mindset, in which a mindset of helpfulness. I don't know.
Right, but doesn't that sometimes mean that people think that it's only the government's responsibility?
No, it's not only government responsibility. First of all, it's a personal responsibility. I think that everyone should help each other first of all. Then the government can create a structure, and then can act in a right way to allow people to be helpful and to help each other. But I think that mainly it's a feature of a person.
So, Emanuele, do you think that some people deserve help more than others?
No, I don't. I think everybody deserves the same amount of help from other peoples. But sometimes I understand that it's difficult to help some people. First of all, people that don't behave in a right way, or that made you suffer during your life, or with people you had a bad experience with. But in general, I think that everybody should have the same amount of help.
Thank you very much. That is the end of the speaking test.
Thanks.
Okay, let's go on and think about attitudes towards helping other people. Some people don't want to help other people. Why do you think that is?
Honestly, I don't know, but I think that the main attitude is help.
Yeah.
The people tend to help each other.
Maybe they've had a bad experience, or
yeah, it may be that sometimes you had a bad experience in which you felt really bad and nobody helped you, and now you don't feel ready to do it with the peoples. But I think that by the way, you should always try to be helpful, because you can't base your attitude on a past experience.
Let's go on and think about jobs that involve helping people. Can you tell me some of the jobs that focus on helping other people?
Well,
what kind of jobs? Caring jobs.
yes, I think first of all, it's in the hospital, nurses, doctors, they help people to become healthy again.
Do you think that some people deserve help more than others?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, do you think that some people deserve help more than other people?
Yes, for example, poor people, they need a lot of attention and a lot of time to be with, and on the other hand, rich people don't really need attention. I mean, with the money they can do whatever they want. So some people deserve to be more
More help
on
than
the
others,
light
yeah.
of.
Okay.
Yeah.
What sort of qualities does a person need to work in that sort of job?
You mean to become a doctor or to?
Not qualifications, but what kind of person makes a good nurse or a good doctor?
I think he or she should be very kind, tolerant, and cooperative.
What different types of writing do you do? For example, letters, emails, reports or essays?
For the university? I don't write much, only essays for the university, and sometimes letters to my family and friends, and emails too on the computer. That's it.
Yes. I remember that I helped my grandmother, and my mother asked me to go to her home and help for 2 or 3 weeks. So I went there, and actually my grandmother was ill, so I had to do some cookings for her and some housekeeping works. In the evening I read books for her. Then after 2 weeks she became healthy, and she forgot about that days when she was ill. So now I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I did it, and my mother also very great that I helped my grandmother.
Last summer I went to the United States in Miami to visit my uncle, because he's been living there for 10 years, and he married an American woman, and so I went to visit him just as a tourist. But then I decided to take English lessons to improve my English, and I met a Venezuelan boy, and he couldn't speak English at all. So I wanted to help him practicing his English.
Let's talk about music. How often do you listen to music?
Every day. I love music. Yeah, I'm a fan of music, every type of music, especially rock music and classical music. And I like to search from the internet new groups, new bands, new type of genres. Yeah, every day.